Good morning, Clint. Pierce Theory. I like to call myself the soul doctor, counselor extraordinaire. Anyway, a big thing, right now, and obviously it's been big for a little while, is the George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin situation. Now, I had already, did what I do, kind of taking a look at it, looked at the people involved. And I'd made a determination, and it's funny. A friend of mine was like, you called in, like you actually inspired me to think about the case, to focus on the case, and yes, that's part of the thing I like about what I do is it inspires conversation, it inspires deep thought, it inspires searching out feelings, So it's something that's very, I feel, progressive. Um, and I always like intellectual stimulation, you know what I mean, to bounce ideas off of people and then bounce ideas off of me. But anyway, so what I have here are the two readings I did. The one on George Zimmerman, which includes a couple of different stages with him, like during the trial and, his mindset before the incident. And then I got Trayvon Martin, and then so I'll try and discuss how these two dynamics kind of played against each other and made it the situation that it became. Okay, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. No winners there. All right, so starting with George Zimmerman. This is the reading I did on him. I said he feels relieved and angry over possible threats against his person, which is something that's current. Okay, he's very alert and determined to address any direct threat with deadly force if necessary. Okay, at one point I looked at him during the trial. No, shortly before the trial, and I think he was in hiding, and he was terrified. He was getting death threats and whatever. He was scared to death. Okay, so things have shifted now. He has his confidence up, and he's feeling like, I wish somebody would. I gotta watch my language. I don't know the age groups of people watching this that will be watching the video. Anyway, okay, so his personality. He's a person that's prone to anger. He has somewhat of an anger issue, and the thing about his anger is it's such that it makes him unreasonable and narrow-minded when he gets into an angry state. It's an emotionally charged type of thing. Now, I talk about it in the book. The mind has so much emotion to it. I'm not going to give everything away, but the mind has so much emotion to it. The heart has so much emotion to it, And so he gets charged up, and it kind of takes over higher brain functioning with him when this happens, okay? So he can be very unreasonable, very narrow-minded. He's a person that leads normally with his mind. I didn't do the ratios, but to look at it now, he's probably a 70-30, 70% mind, 30% heart, okay? He's the type of person that sees things very black and white. Either it's right or it's wrong, it is or it isn't, Not a person that you would consider very flexible. Anyway, during the trial, he was extremely angry. I talked to one person and she thought she saw some remorse. There was no remorse. No, he was actually angry over the fact that he was being charged, and he felt like it was a circus. Because he felt like the evidence the first night, showed that he was well within his rights to react the way he did react. All right. Now, what I did see in him is he does question himself secretly in his own mind as to whether he initially overreacted, which caused the chain of events. But on the outside, he always tries to project confidence in his full innocence, like something that he does to keep his supporters around him feeling a certain way. He doesn't want to show that he's double thinking himself or doubting himself in his mind. Okay? He's a man with, I would say, a medium amount of pride. You know, not great pride. I've seen great pride before, and he has about a medium amount, not minimal. He's not really a humble person. No, no, no. So he does have medium pride, which sometimes mixes with his anger, and those don't make for a good mix because both of those things are handicaps. Anger's a handicap, especially uncontrolled, and if it's great anger because it blinds you, you know, it clouds you logically. It really does. And pride does the same thing. You know, it's a very debilitating thing. All right. Anyway, he's also prone to unexplainable sadness. I see in him due to him being out of touch emotionally with his own heart. Basically, he doesn't know his own heart. I feel and see a disconnect between the person he is and the person that he feels he is. You know, so basically, you have a person's current level of awareness, all right, and then you have their complete makeup emotionally. There's a gap in between his level of awareness and the sum total of him emotionally. He's not connected. Okay, so he's, in my examination, immature and underdeveloped, you know, quite frankly. Sometimes I can speak very, very frankly. Sometimes you have to. There's no other way to say something. All right. Also, kind of unrelated, but just me looking at him as a whole, some things that play into him just overall and gives you an idea of his character is, you know, he's a person that I can see is frustrated sexually and very sexually insecure, you know. I guess one of the ways that contributes is that a person that feels like that may tend to overcompensate in another area, you know, do something to try and make themselves feel confident, you know, so they can overcompensate. Anyway, all right, so then we have Trayvon. Trayvon, like I said in my video yesterday, I can look at different, you know, points with a person, especially if a person that has died. I can look at what they were going through before they died, you know, what type of person they were, the type of things that they were thinking and experiencing and formulating leading up to the death, exactly when they died, and then, you know, afterward, what's going on with them, if anything, you know, and anyway, that's a whole other subject to get into the other side of life. But okay, before his death, he was a person that led with his mind. He had a disrespectful temperament. He looked down on authority. He tried to always find ways to undermine authority figures. He would put on appearance sometimes to go along with instructions, but many times he may have had to be prompted more than once for compliance. You know, you might say that's all teenagers. You know, a lot of teenagers are like that. So I can imagine him being at school and his teacher having to repeatedly ask him to do something. You know, Trayvon, would you put that away, or would you do this, or would you do that? And then he finally might, okay, you know, take his time and show his disapproval or something like that. All right. He was, before his death, formulating a hateful mindset, and up to the time of his death, okay? And he was cultivating this mindset to give himself strength over an insecure heart that he was trying to overcome with what made sense to him. The process made sense to him, okay? He felt he had no satisfying example to draw from and shape his emotional being. And on top of this, he had a leaning toward the darker side of thinking, okay? He wanted to make himself, in my estimation, strong, like the devil, who to him had to be strong to stand up to Almighty God, you know. But he's not the only person or child, you know, to feel that way. He believed he could stand up to anyone, even if he was scared, if he was like the devil. He believed that hate was stronger than love. Some people, they look around at the world